foodie renaissance has taken over the Bay Area, and everyone is seeming to find their niche in gumptious gastronomy. Take Danny Gabriner, founder of Sour Flour, who just started making bread a few years ago and is about to turn his home baking project into a real-life bakery, hopefully in the very near future. In the meantime, he's refining his baking skills and teaching a variety of bread-making classes at La Victoria in the Mission. I dropped in on a starter class to see what Sour Flour was all about.
The class today is a starter workshop, and it's meant to introduce people to bread baking through the starter. Starter is just flour and water, but it's really intimidating to a lot of people. So we're going to be learning about fermentation and how to control the starter and how to use that starter in bread making. Sour Flour is a bread organization. We bake bread and teach people how to make bread. And it's really just about continually improving. It's handmade, it's naturally fermented. We also do Bagel Monday each week, free bagels for anybody who wants them. And we're generally trying to get people baking more bread. My background in bread was that the first bread I ever made was about a year and a half before starting Sour Flour, and it was the bread from the Joy of Cooking bread recipe. I also read a couple of other bread books, like the Tassajara bread book, and just started practicing on my own. Bread Baker's Apprentice was the first book that I started to really follow and go through and try to bake a lot of the bread in that book. But it's been a lot of hands-on practice and also learning from other people around me who have come help bake, as well as visiting bakeries. And also the San Francisco Baking Institute has been a great resource. Michelle Suez, who started that, has got a great book, Advanced Bread and Pastry, which was very helpful. And they also gave me a scholarship for a one-week workshop at their San Francisco Baking Institute, which was pretty helpful as well.
And is it true that you started out giving away 1,000 loaves? Why did you do that?
Yeah, the first goal of Sour Flour was to give away 1,000 loaves of bread, and part of it was just to figure out if I could stay with something for that long. When I started, I didn't know a huge amount about bread, and so I ran some rough numbers and came up with if we could sell 1,000 loaves of bread a day at $4 a loaf for 250 days out of the year, it'd be $1 million in revenue. But two big questions are, what does it cost to do that, and what does 1,000 loaves even look like? So I set off to bake 1,000 loaves, did it in my home oven for the most part, and it took me 6 months rather than one day. And giving it away was just a way to connect with neighbors and new people and have people try the bread and also get bread to people who wanted it. So after that, we continued to give away free bread, and I do think there's a lot of value in that. But we're also now going to be looking to sell it as well, in addition to giving away some free bread.
The starter that Danny gave his students came from a batch that he originally started in Costa Rica a few years back and then brought back with him to San Francisco. Think of the possibilities. Every time we go on a trip, bring back a new starter from that country. Talk about cultured bread. Pardon my pun. This is Ariel Soto-Suver for the SF Bay Guardian.